سيد الرئيس يشهد الجميع أن الرئيس الأسد زعيم إصلاحي.
Mr. President, the President of Assad is seen by all as a reforming leader because he is aware of the fact that these reforms are a national requirement, exclusively national, and any reform in any country that is a member of the United Nations is, according to the United Nations Charter, an issue of domestic politics, and everybody must respect these domestic issues, including other member states of the United Nations. And no obstacles must be put in the way of these reforms, which could only serve foreign interests. Whoever really encourages reform from the outside cannot ignore the fact that reforms and measures have been taken on the ground, and those individuals must not be an obstacle to this very famous, well-known Syrian model of reform and based on tolerance and coexistence between the various sectors of its population. A number of appeals were made in the Security Council. These were appeals for the overthrow of legitimate governments. Those who make these appeals are responsible for responsible and negative acts which harm the interests of peoples and governments, and this represents a clear violation of the United Nations Charter. It represents using international law to use the situation in the Middle East, which is limited to the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, and particularly the Palestinian question. So it is a misuse of this agenda item to ignore what underlies this problem. And it also encourages the continuing Israeli aggression. And it's also an encouragement to the Israeli government for further violence and further extension of its settlements. It furthermore encourages the defiance of the international and Palestinian wish for peace. We would have liked to have heard the US and British delegates express, if only just for once, the sympathy, the empathy for the suffering of the Palestinian people and the Syrians in the Syrian Golan occupied territories, which have been occupied since 1967. We would have liked these two delegations to call upon Israel to put an end to the state of emergency in Israel, which has been in place since 1988 till today. This state of emergency has been used to seize Palestinian territory, to destroy houses and expel their inhabitants, and to allow a mafia of Israeli colonists to occupy them. And furthermore, Israel has inherited the law on emergency law under a British occupation authority. This was applied to the Palestinian people in 1939. Thank you, Mr. President.
Agradezco al señor representante de la República Árabe Siria por su declaración y doy ahora la palabra al señor representante de Pakistán.